I know, I gotta clean up. I gotta clean up. I'm gonna clean up in the next 7 days. I'm not in no rush. You know what I'm saying? I had to plat it up. Matter of fact, this is long as I done ever had like my plats like this, and it's crazy because like when I was a jit, I got a little plat right here too. You feel me? I got one over there too. It just helped it actually, believe it or not, be more manageable because I wanted to grow it like how just keep growing. It ain't really acting like no particular person. I just wanted to just be natural and not keep putting a razor to my face, and I just like it. But it just for some, I got like thick, coarse hair. So since it's really coarse, it been trying to grow up toward my like face, and it be tickling like what the hell is feel like a spider on me? You know what I'm saying? So I just went ahead and platted to keep it like organized. But I'm finna clean all this up. As far as this is gonna be the process, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be while it's gonna be. Um, yeah. But anyway, I ain't really got no big subject matters to speak on. But we just gonna talk about a couple of world affairs and whatnot. I wanna say, everybody got an agenda, bro. Like everybody in the world got an agenda. Every politician got an agenda. It ain't no such thing as really a black agenda, cause it's like people that profit when another black person suffering, it's some money to be made by a black person, and vice versa. No matter what race you is, so it's like it's hard to really put yourself in a demographic or a group these days and say this the group I belong to, this the group I'm gonna win with. It's almost like individuality that's at this point. It's like if you're gonna win, you're gonna win regardless. You can't. It ain't nobody you can align yourself with, a ethnicity or a race. You can align yourself with. You either gonna get to the money or you not. You feel me? That's kind of like how the thing plays itself out. You feel me? Ambulance going to get somebody, man. God bless. Hope they be all right. But yeah, that's my mindset on that. So when I'm speaking on politics, I'm speaking on certain groups, I'm gonna mind my tongue because at the end of the day, I gotta do what's best for me in this world and in this life. Sometimes one thing about it is I got my American freedom to be able to speak about whatever I want to speak about. But at the same time, it's like, is it worth the hassle? Like if you're a big conglomerate with like let's just say I work for a corporation, I can use the guys that I'm under this network for me to be able to speak like this and the network take the hit. But if I'm just an individual speaking on something that offends a vast group of people, especially people of power, then I directly gotta combat that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be mindful of that when I be doing my talks. Don't get me wrong, I still got a liberal tongue, gonna speak how I want to speak, but I'm just open to these things. Having said that, let's talk about like some local politics on the state level. On the state level, you got the conservative, you got the Democrats and Republicans primaries right now. And I always was a fan of open elections. Open elections mean that as an independent, I could vote for the Democratic primary and I could vote for the Republican primary. Somebody say don't donate it money to him. It's totally a scam. I never asked for a donation, so you're incorrect on that. I've never received a donation. Had I received a donation, let me tell you, I think, you know what? Let's talk about that. You just diverted me real quick. Don't retract the message. Keep it up there because I want to speak on it. See, the thing is this with me. Now, if I was, let's just say, in the Umar position, people like that, and I'm just using him as an example, I ain't making him the butt of this. But when a person takes the people money and people believe in you, like they just had a Trump phone, they made a joke about it. Trump had a phone, and then the phone not even coming out, so a bunch of people paid for something. When you do stuff like that, you take a crap on your name. You take a crap on the folks that believe in you. Like if it's anybody that ever believed in me enough to where they can put their hard earned money, you feel me, toward what my belief is, it's for me to grow that. It ain't for me to spend it. Like I was saying to myself, if somebody ever had no like was generous to me and they just gave me something, like let's say I was down bad and they said, man, here you go. I would not only take that money, but I would sit it. Now, obviously, we not. I don't want to get all scatterbrained and talk about how sitting money or don't stagnated money don't make no money. Basically, savers they taught us coming up that if you save money, That's how you become wealthy, by saving. But when inflation and the dollar is sinking higher than while you saving, then you really, let's just say I saved $20 yesterday, but the shit only worth 10 today. That's basically the shit in the a microsystem or whatever. It's saving don't really benefit, but spending it recklessly don't benefit either. So I would just say that to say, if my platform ever get to the point where people send me donations or contributions, I would never abuse the money. I wouldn't even spend it. I would sit back and plot and plan on how can I make this money reciprocate so that we all can grow. You feel me? Like I always been like, I'm gonna give you a quick example real quick. I live by a church, right? And they did something very impressive recently. 2 weeks, maybe a month ago, it was Monday morning, not even church. You know, church is usually Sunday, right on the weekend, Saturday, or maybe like revival at night. 6 in the morning, they just all go to rolling in the church. I was like, well, this some kind of cold. A big ass tour bus came, and everybody got on the tour bus, and they just left. And so I asked my neighbor, I say, why all them church people went at? You know, I went to a little small church where they got the church van there gather up, and people put their money to congregation. They go congregate with other churches. But she said, oh, they go on shopping trips. Like they just go out as a church, as a congregation, and they leave for like a week and they just go shopping. That was so impressive to me. That was so dope. I said, see, my perception of church and in itself would be different. Not religion, because I'm very religious. I believe in my Lord. But what I'm saying is my perception on church, especially the black church, would be so different if the money was being appropriated. I seen another pastor, let me give a shout out to, I don't know his name, but he said, this is how real church work. He said, let's just call her Johnson. Sister Johnson, you remember that contribution you gave last week? He had a whole bunch of money stacked out on the table like an offering, but instead of a plate, he had it like bundled up. He said, come get all this money. That's what I'm talking about. I've been saying this. We're not gonna make this about church. We going on. We talk about money right now because somebody made an allegation early on to say that, oh, it's a scam. Don't send her no money. As if I even put out a hashtag to send the money to. You feel me? And my channel not even monetized. So this is more so me just having fun and popping shit. You did. So with that said, though, I had to put the point out there that I'm not no sucker. Like I always told a woman that I don't mind getting behind a woman like Stedman got behind Oprah, but you gotta have a plan. You gotta have a plan. I know a white guy named James. He used to make, and mind you, this back in the days, but it was pretty good money. Still good money. $1,800 a week, right? And he give his wife the whole check. She be there at the office. The I don't like to use the word boss. My employer used to get mad at his wife because he's like, why are you up here collecting this check? Let him get the check and put it in your hand. You're not even an employee of mine to be up here. And I used to talk to the white dude about this. We were the same age. He probably a year older than me. I used to say, man, bro, why you let your... He said, man, listen, I can't read that good. It's a country redneck white boy. So he don't know how to read that good, but he can work his ass off. He can make money like a mug, but he just can't read, do math that good. So he said, I don't know, I'm not good at all that. He said, I trust my wife. And so I'm like, yeah, but you know this, and he said, as long as she buy my cigarettes, buy my weed, he said, I'm good. I'm like, yeah, but bro, you live in some luxury apartments, bro. Like, if you get hurt or sick, your rent still gonna be due next week, fam. I'm always been of the mindset as far as a business goes that as the boss climb, I climb. Somebody say, hey mate, what it is, Justin? What it is, Austin? As the boss climb, I climb. If the boss is in an apartment, then I must be really doing bad. If the boss moves to a house, then I'm moving to an apartment. If the boss moving to a baby mansion, I'm moving to a house. If he moving to a big mansion, I'm moving to... That's how it's supposed to work in the world. As you climb, I climb. I can't probably go past you, but I could damn sure rise as you rise. I'm not supposed to stay stagnant while you rise. I say that to say, I told him you the highest paid employee at the company, bro. But you don't look like it because you let somebody else take care of your finance who not good with finance. And so I've been of the mindset, I've always been telling women since then, for about 10 years now. I don't mind. I'm not like no crap. But what you're not gonna do is mismanage what I bust my behind for, and then we looking around crazy and we scraping the pot. We can't do that. And what you're not gonna do also is tell me we on some 50-50 And then when it's time to pay up or we go places, I'm always spending while you always got your hair done. You got this, that, this. I'm not on that. And so it's about somebody having the strength and the mentality to say, you know what, whoever the most financially stable, sound person is, that's who runs this finance in this relationship. That's who runs the decision making in the family. Even it ain't got to be a relationship; it could be a family. And so that's what I'm ultimately saying as far as a person, just to get to that point of that person who said, if I ever got to my platform to get to that level where I was taking contributions or taking money, I got to make it reciprocate where it pays off everybody. Everybody got to look good behind me, around me. It go back to, I'll just quote Lil Farron real quick, dude named Peasy, a Detroit rapper. I forgot how he said it in one of his songs, but he like, everybody got a rolling on. They can't tell who the boss. Like, everybody got to be looking like we winning. It ain't no. It got to be on some big meech back in the days. Like, everybody got to be riding, flying, dressed nice. Can't be I'm just looking good and my dogs is looking like bombs. Kind of leader am I? So that's my mindset on that. Let's move forward. So where we at in the world? They talking about this gas price thing, man. This gas thing is ridiculous, and let me tell you why, bro. Because I think it should be after all this stuff takes place, you need to be a class action lawsuit. Ain't no way you get to water down the gas, put ethanol heavy in it, ET and all that. Mind you, I used to work with ethanol, corn oil. They basically call it corn oil. And you using basically the most synthetic form of oil, and then you telling us that the gas price is still high. That's supposed to actually help the gas price stay cheap. And I think as we start getting into this voting thing, oh, that's what I wanted to talk about, touch on real quick. The whole point of us electing Congress, meaning our Congress is made of two groups: House of Representatives and Senators, right? Senators and House of Representatives, and then a governor that governs the state, right? This this is my point. A governor that governs the state. Govern just means control. That's all govern means. Look up what's synonymous with govern. It means control. This is my point. Why are we sending people to make decisions for us? Why don't, like I've said it and I'm gonna keep saying it, I'm gonna keep regurgitating this point over and over. Why don't we get to vote on every major bill of that Congress has to vote on? Instead of having Congress, let's eliminate Congress. Everybody say make government small. Okay, let's make government small. We only have governors. That's it. Just governors. Let's get rid of representatives. Let's get rid of senators. Let's keep local government intact until we figure out how we can deal with that. But in the meantime, as far as on the federal level and for how money being spent, we need to be able to vote on all this. It need to come across your phone the same way an Amber Alert comes simultaneously across everybody's phone. Give you a window of opportunity the same way y'all used to be on American Idol voting on your phone every weekend. When American Idol was popping, we need to be voting on every bill, every congressional bill. We don't need Congress. I don't need you to go tell me what you're gonna do for me and then you go do the opposite. And then I can't keep account of you because we got so many damn congressmen and y'all pointing the finger at each other. It was him, it was him, it was both of y'all. So I would like to see this country get to that point. And until we get to that point, I would also like to see us hold, like right now, I would like to see it in this election cycle. See, the thing is, we doing all this complaining about, matter of fact, let me backtrack. Matter of fact, let me get to my point. Then I make see if I can remember. My bad. Let me read this comment real quick. Facts never live out of your means. What are you what are you used paying in the what are you used to paying in the USA? Depends. Oh, as far as gas right now is $4. But my whole key to it is like a slight protest, meaning that I just don't go nowhere. I usually like take a lot of trips and drive and drive and drive and drive. But ever since gas been ridiculous, when I took a trip to Augusta last week, 2 weeks ago, which is basically I drove like 200 plus miles. Bro, my tank was on a quarter. Like I'm used to getting close to 500 miles, 450 to be. I don't play with it up to 500, but I usually get 450 out of my tank. And it used to cost me less than 6 months ago. I just had to kill a gnat. Less than 6 months ago, I was filling up my tank for $24. You feel me? I was filling up my tank. I got a Mopar, but I ain't got no big Mopar. I ain't gonna put my exact car out there, but I got a Mopar. And I was filling up my tank for $23, fam. I was able to get from Fort Lauderdale, Florida to Live Oak, Florida, which is basically South Florida to North Florida. And Florida is like one of the longest states. And and off of $24. I was able to get to middle Georgia to South Florida literally one time off of $58. 58, fam. I was so proud of myself. I felt like I was a genius. And so, but now I can't even get around the city off of $30. It's like it's ridiculous. You feel me? And the fact that the companies are getting record prices and we don't see the only thing, and that's when I'm talking about Congress. Congress is gonna have a congressional sideshow where they're gonna call these people to be accountable. They're gonna say, hey, and then they're gonna say, I plead the fifth. They do it in front of us all the time. They're gonna say, hey, were you guys price gouging on a federal level or whatever level, national level? Hey, I plead the fifth. I don't want to say that. Then they're gonna get a kickback to the same Congress who's questioning them. Imagine I helped you get elected and now you're the one questioning me. Of course, let's play this game. So, that little Ponzi scheme with this gas thing is only gonna lead to, I think something good is gonna come out of this. I think that we're gonna start getting to reusable energy. EVs, I'm not really the biggest fan of EVs because them things catch on fire like crazy. And then the charging time, who the hell wanna be sitting there waiting for a car to charge all day? But I will say, um, getting engines that run specifically off of ethanol that can be more efficient off of ethanol. Sort of like when you see those tanks say hybrid cars and stuff like that, and it says what it be saying on those cars? I forgot what it be saying. E something. That's basically meaning that your engine is equipped to take that kind of petroleum that's been distilled down to a refined gas. So us having that actual engines that are efficient with cheaper fuel sources, basically corn oil. We got all these cornfields, and our farmers need a bailout. I think it makes the perfect sense. Our farmers need a bailout because they the one. And I want to say too, for people try to cause this divide, they say high density cities is liberal and rural is conservative. But guess what? I seen a politician say something real cool today. He said not every Republican is a conservative. Just because he votes Republican and says he's Republican doesn't mean that he is into conserving money. Just look at what we got in office. Look, matter of fact, look at the last conservatives since 2000, since Bush. They spend more than they actually saving. So what are you conserving? Pardon me. Somebody please teach me in the comments what conservative mean if you're not conserving. Hell, put me in there. I'm what you call a hybrid. I like to conserve. Oh man, that's what I say to another thing real quick because I'm all over the place, but I need to be all over the place. Why don't we vote for politicians who work hard? Give me a history of your let me see your IRS tax. What do they call it? Your IRS tax I can't remember the name of it, but basically it shows all the years that you've worked. That's who I want to vote for. I don't care about how rich you is because guess why I don't care about how rich you is? How rich you is doesn't correlate to me being rich. That trickle down effect shit, the last time I believed the trickle down effect is when I was a kid. Maybe I was 14 years old and I wanted to vote for Mitt Romney. I just thought I was the slickest dude. Mitt Romney was the first Donald Trump. He was the first person popping that shit that I'm not a politician. I made money in the private sector. I'm rich as hell. I was like, yeah, that's who I want to vote for. Give me the rich guy. I never knew that everybody was a millionaire became the president. Damn, Bill Clinton was a lawyer, a millionaire lawyer. Obama was a millionaire lawyer, book writer. Freaking even Jimmy Carter, bless his heart, the most conservative ever president, stayed in his little $100,000 house his entire life as an adult. Before the presidency, during the presidency, after the presidency, the most conservative, the best example of what I would vote for current day, but you can't find that kind of person. But having said that, even he was a millionaire former. So my whole point that I'm making is, it's not as Ronald Reagan, millionaire actor. Why do we as a society in America just love the uber rich to just rub their money and wealth in our face while we struggle? Why are we constantly living vicariously through these people, thinking that one day we too can be that? We can't. Only thing we can do is be happy in this life that we have and thrive with more opportunity. I don't want to say with what we got because how shit they keep taking what we got. We just keep giving and they keep taking. They never satisfied. So my whole point is, why don't we vote a president that can show me a tax? Why the hell I can't think of the name? Anyway, I don't want to call it a tax audit, but basically shows I need a person that's worked 20 years and has been frugal with their money, conservative, and came from, I don't want to say came from nothing, but a person that can show me, hey, this is how I put my money to use. This is what I've done with my money. I don't need a millionaire to tell me how we too can trust him because he's a millionaire and he been rich for so damn long. He's not even grounded to understand the everyday struggles. That's the person that could change America around. The person that was able to change their own life around. Think about it. If you've been rich, it's hard really to go broke. I know a lot of people say that's not possible. But athletes go broke every day. Yeah, they was handed this money out of nowhere and they was broke. Think about it. They was broke before they had the money. They was handed the money out of no. I'm talking about when you was raised with it, when you learned all the tax. Like when Donald Trump first ran for president, and he was talking about the tax code, and he know how to cheat the tax code, and other millionaires do. When you've had this knowledge bestowed upon you, generation after generation, it's really hard to. It's a system in place that is. It's you know I heard a person say it's expensive being poor. That's the best way I can describe it. It's expensive being poor. Let's say you didn't have a car. Hell, you catching more hell than the people with a car. Your Uber price is through the roof. It's expensive being poor. So, or if you make it working a minimum wage job and you being taxed at a high bracket. When I say at a high bracket, people say, "Well, no, they tax at a lower scale than a millionaire pays $300,000." Yeah, but you made 700,000. You take 30% from a poor person who made 10,000. You take 3,000 from a person that made 10,000, get them seven. What would you rather have? 700,000 or seven? So don't tell me that. Oh well, they're paying 300. So what? So my point that I'm making is ultimately, man, I need a person that is a everyday person to run for president. A person that is not just. I don't care about the likability part. I care about the relatability. Likability, I think that's America's problem. They always judging the polls off of likability. I don't even care if I like you. Can you save me some money? Can you give me some relief? Can you bring some innovative ideas that probably were going to cost you your life? But do you love your country enough that you will bring forth these ideas to bring change? Can you do that? And so you got my vote. Because right now it's getting harder and harder to vote. And if I hadn't known so much about what the people that came before me went through to get for me to have the right to vote, I would just be all through with it. Because I remember when I heard Snoop, I thought it was the most ignorant shit at the time I ever heard. Somebody asked Snoop about voting. And Snoop, this is well when Snoop is like 40. Snoop was like, I ain't never voted in my life. And I was like, this guy has led millions, made millions. He ain't never voted in his life. And here I po ass and regular people, we've been voting thinking we can make a change. And what did he know that I don't know? Because maybe he know what I'm learning, which is what the hell is this difference is this making for me? So anyway, I spoke on that. I'm gonna rock this out for about 6 more minutes, then I'm gonna call it quits. What else I want to speak on real quick? Oh man, R.I.P. to Jason Collins died of a brain aneurysm. I don't want to call it a brain aneurysm, but it felt like it. But he said brain cancer. They said brain cancer, but I feel like the aneurysm was the actual cause of death. But I'm not in that. I'm not a PA to tell you exactly that. But another person that died was the other athlete, drug overdose allegedly. And I just say people go through things, and you just like one thing I've learned, and I wrote a raw poem. I got it on this phone. Maybe I'll kick that tonight. I wrote a raw poem. It's called Tears of Love. And I'll recite that at another time. But my next live stream, I'm gonna recite a poem called Tears of Love. And basically what I mean by Tears of Love, it's called the double entendre because I mean it in two different ways. Tears of love meaning levels. There's levels. I divide my love in three tiers. First tier, second tier, third tier. This is the bottom tier, middle tier, third tier. But it's also tears of love. So that's a double entendre. And this whole poem that I wrote, I realized how deep my love was because nobody brings out the love in you, or nobody should bring out the love in you like your child. And I found myself saying a prayer for my daughter's best friend. and she's not in no like medical situation where she needs my immediate prayer. But because she brings so much joy to my daughter's heart, it compelled me that during my prayer, I was like, I hope she's good. I hope like her mental state and her life, her personal life at home, and everything is great. Because when she's doing good, and is my daughter's doing well. You did what I'm saying? And what inspired me to write this poem, because I was like, it was a self reflection. I was thinking, too many times we say that we can give the ultimate love to a woman, meaning that the best love I can give to a woman is my second tier. Now I'm not gonna, like I said, I don't got the poem. I got the poem in his phone, but I can't put it to it. But the reason I say it is, only reason I can give a woman the second tier version of my love is because the top tier is for my child, and I tell you why. Because literally, who my child loves, I love, and who she hate, I hate. I can't make that same promise to a woman that is not a part of me. I have no vested interest beyond a selfishness to want to be loved like every other human. But I don't have to be loved. That's the whole key. I want to be loved. Phew, God damn, not the flu in my about to go in the house. Anyway, point is, I want to be loved, but I don't need to be loved. My daughter, I need to love her. I have to love her. So who she love, it's the ultimate love. That's the top, that's the highest level of love I could give and feel. So I can give a woman the second tier of my love, because the second tier of my love is still a deep love, but it's a love that is not unconditional, because no love is unconditional except for the love for the child. I really believe. I even don't think of love for thy parents is unconditional, but the love for what came from you, it's nothing like it in the world. And so the third tier of my love, and I wrote it in the poem. I recited. It's a deep poem, but I recite it on later on another stream. The third tier of my love basically encompasses my brothers, my cousins, my aunties, and my homies. And this is a love that some people fade out of. And even I acknowledged during the poem that I have family members that I really like. I'm talking about my blood, but I don't put them into the third tier of my love because I don't love them. I don't know them like that. They don't want to know me like that, and I don't really want to know them. But I do acknowledge we are family. And I do acknowledge there are people that come into your life that are not family that you will love more than members of your family. And that's what's the third tier of my love. Now, somebody's gonna ask, and I said this in the poem, you didn't mention your mom. Like I said, family members can never touch, well, a mother or a parent, a mother or father can't, to me, reach the top tier like a child can. But I will say my mom touches all three levels, and this is why. She floats in all three levels because I can never be out of love with her. I can never put her out of my heart. The worst it could get for her is third tier. But I can't consistently keep her in the first tier because I don't love her like I love my child. I let her know that. I think that's what makes me a great parent and a great son, because I can never love nobody like I love my child. So that second tier often aligns with her, but I can't see a person that says in the Bible you part from a person to become one with your wife. And that's what I ultimately seek, that love that I want to give most of me. That's the best I can give a woman. If a woman ever say, what's the biggest thing you could give me? I could give you most of me. I can give you most of me. I can give you most of my time. I can give you most of affection and most of this and most of that. But I can't give you my top tier love. But I could keep you in the second tier, which is really defined. And that third, and speaking on that, and I'll close it like this, because I said I'm only going to do up to 30 minutes. That second and that third tier, what they have to understand, all members of that second and third tier got to understand that who you love don't mean I have to love them, and who you hate don't mean I have to hate them. I only have to reserve that for the first tier, which is my child. Outside of that, I don't owe you that. But what I can say is, me and my brethren, we rock in the same lane, and just like rocking in the same lane, if they crash and I'm in the same lane, what you think I'm about to do? I don't want to do it, so I ask them to drive safe ahead of me. Because if you truly love me, you won't let me crash. And you won't never ask me to crash. You won't never ask me to love who you love and hate who you hate. But guess what? I love who love you. That's what I can tell you. I don't. You see. I'm gonna make it make sense again. I don't have to love who you love, but I love who loves you because you might love somebody that don't love you back. So that mean I gotta love them? Hell no. I love who love you. But one thing I won't do, I refuse to do, is hate who you hate. But I am in your lane, and if you crash, what you think that mean for me? Anyway, you look like that plastic fuel guy. That's my son. Jab Nature. That's my son. That's my juvie. Shit, that's my juvie. So, which I mean, of course, I look like him. You ain't just hear me was talking about resources and different alternative fuels. Bruh, Plastoline, baby. That part, I'm in Georgia right now, man. Don't make me pull up on Sunshine. Maybe me and Sunshine do a stream one day. Anyway, man, love, y'all take care, man. That part, I'm out.